Very unexpected news. Loudly crying faced the painful secret of BTS. RM loudly crying faced the heartbreaking truth behind his smile. In the vast, echoing halls of the United Nations, a young man stands before a microphone. He is surrounded by world leaders and diplomats. His hands shake slightly, a detail only visible if you look very closely. He speaks of self-love, of finding one's voice, and his words resonate across the globe. To the world, RM is the fearless leader of BTS, the articulate spokesperson, the genius lyricist with an IQ of 148. He is the pillar that holds up the biggest boy band in history. But if you strip away the suit, the speeches, and the stage persona, you will find a story that is far more fragile. It is the story of Kim Namjoon, a man who has spent his entire youth carrying a mountain on his shoulders, terrified that if he stumbles, everything he loves will collapse. To understand the depth of RM's burden, we must go back to a time before the fame. Kim Namjoon was not born into the spotlight. He was born into expectation. As a student, he was part of the top 1% in the nation. He had a clear, safe path ahead of him. A prestigious university, a corporate job, a stable life. But there was a fire in his chest that equations could not extinguish. He fell in love with hip-hop. He started writing lyrics in his textbooks, hiding them from his parents. According to various interviews, the conflict with his family was intense. He had to beg his mother to let him pursue music, uttering the now famous words, "Do you want a son who is in 5,000th place in studying, or a son who is in first place in rap?" He chose the uncertain path. He entered the underground hip-hop scene under the name Runch Randa. But the underground was not a welcoming home. When he decided to join Big Hit Entertainment and become an Idol trainee, he faced a brutal identity crisis. The hip-hop community he loved turned its back on him, labeling him a sellout. To them, he was too pop to be a rapper. Later, to the pop industry, he was too rough to be an idol. He was stuck in a painful limbo, rejected by both worlds. He was a teenager trying to find his identity, only to be told by everyone that he didn't belong anywhere. The trainee years were a test of endurance that nearly broke him. RM was the first member of BTS. He watched the lineup change constantly. He saw friends pack their bags and leave, their dreams crushed. He sat in the empty practice room, wondering if he would be next. The pressure was unique to him. He was not just a trainee, he was the designated leader. He had to be the bridge between the company and the other boys. He had to be strong even when he was terrified. In a moment of raw vulnerability revealed years later on the Show You Quiz on the Block, RM confessed that shortly before debut, the pressure became too much. He ran away. He escaped the dorm and went to his father, ready to quit. It was a moment of pure human desperation. He was just a boy who wanted to stop running. But his father told him, "If you don't go back, you will regret it for the rest of your life." So, Kim Namjoon swallowed his fear and returned to the dungeon, choosing duty over his own comfort. When BTS finally debuted, the world was not kind. Critics attacked their music, their style, and most hurtfully, their appearance. In the early years, RM faced a barrage of malicious comments about his looks. People called him ugly, saying he didn't look like an idol. He had to stand on stage, smile, and perform while internalizing these insults. The psychological toll of being the shield for the group was immense. Whenever there was a controversy, it was RM who had to step forward and apologize. Whenever there was a difficult question in an interview, it was RM who had to answer. He absorbed the negativity so the other members wouldn't have to. The year 2015 was particularly dark. During the Red Bullet tour, he received death threats that were serious enough to cancel events. Imagine the terror of standing on a stage, wondering if there is someone in the crowd who wants to hurt you. Yet, he continued to lead. He continued to write. He poured his pain into his mixtape, RM, where he explored the duality of his existence. He questioned if he was a monster or a butterfly. The song Reflection, released later on the Wings album, contains some of the most heartbreaking lyrics he has ever written. He sings about going to Tuxium Island alone, watching the happy people, and admitting, "I wish I could love myself." This was not a performance. This was a confession of a man who was guiding millions to self-love while struggling to find it for himself. As BTS conquered the West, RM's role transformed into something even more demanding: the translator. In every American interview, on every talk show, RM was the only one who could speak English fluently. He had to listen, translate, think of a witty response, translate back to the members, and ensure no one said anything that could be twisted by the media. He was doing the work of 5 people in real time. The mental fatigue of this era is something fans can only guess at. He had to be on every second. One slip of the tongue could cause a global scandal. He carried the voice of 7 men in his throat. Behind the leader's strong facade, there were cracks. In the 2022 Festa dinner video, which shocked the world, RM finally let the mask fall. With tears in his eyes, he admitted to feeling burned out. He said he felt like he had lost his direction. He confessed that after releasing Dynamite and Butter, he didn't know what message he had left to give. He felt he was becoming a machine, spitting out content without soul. It was a brave, devastating admission. The man who had all the answers was finally admitting that he was lost. He spoke of the pressure to always be the spokesperson, to always be profound, when sometimes he just wanted to be Kim Namjoon. So, why does the world love him so deeply? It is not just because of his IQ or his rapping. It is because of the gap between RM the leader and Namjoon the human. Fans adore the man who is known as the god of destruction, the person who breaks sunglasses, loses passports, and trips over his own feet. This clumsiness humanizes him. It shows that the man who speaks at the UN is also the man who cannot chop an onion without worrying his members. We love him for Namjooning, his habit of riding his bicycle by the Han River, visiting art galleries, and observing nature. These quiet moments show a soul that is desperately trying to stay grounded in a chaotic world. We love him because he is a leader who leads from the back. He does not demand the spotlight. According to fan observations and behind-the-scenes footage, when the group wins an award, RM often pushes the other members toward the microphone. He ensures every member gets a chance to shine. He credits the group's success to the members and the fans, never taking the glory for himself. He is the tree that provides shade for everyone else, enduring the scorching sun so they can stay cool. His solo album Indigo and his subsequent project Right Place, Wrong Person were his attempts to reclaim his humanity. He stripped away the polished production of K-pop to show something raw, experimental, and honest. He wasn't trying to top the charts. He was trying to find his soul. And when the time came for his military enlistment in December 2023, he approached it with the same thoughtful grace he applies to everything. In his letter to fans, he spoke of fear but also of faith. He promised to return not just as RM, but as a more complete human being. RM's journey is a poignant reminder of the cost of leadership. He gave up his normal teenage years, his privacy, and his freedom to build a legacy. He endured ridicule, racism, and the crushing weight of expectation to create a safe harbor for his members and his fans. He taught us to speak ourselves, even when his own voice was shaking. As we look at the empty space he has left behind during his service, we do not feel abandonment. We feel a profound, silent respect. We realize that the strong oak tree is also a living thing that needs rain and rest. We see a man who learned that true leadership is not about being invincible. It is about being vulnerable enough to admit you are tired, and brave enough to keep walking anyway. The lights of the stadium have dimmed, and the microphones are turned off. But in the quiet, we can hear the legacy of Kim Namjoon. It is not in the records broken or the trophies won. It is in the millions of people who learned to love themselves a little more because he taught them how. It is a legacy built on the silent sacrifice of a young boy from Ilsan who chose to bear the weight of the world, so that we wouldn't have to carry it alone. And for that, the world stands in silent, grateful salute.